All right. So we're talking about the best dog training treats for training. Um, I always say, you don't realize how important the type of treat you use for training to get your dog to respond is absolutely wonderful. So I want to go through some of my favorite dog treats to use for training, and hopefully you'll get some ideas to better serve up your dog. Some treats when necessary for training. All right. So when we talk about treats, let's talk about the texture when it comes down to training. You want to use treats that are soft, small, and chewy, ideally. And so the reason why you want to use soft and chewy treats during training because it's quick to chew and it doesn't distract the dog for long. But keeping in mind, depending on what you're training, you may want a treat that's a little bit harder to buy you some more time. So, of course, for instance, if you're asking your dog to sit, that's something that's pretty quick. And so you want something soft so that it can chew quickly and refocus back on you. But for example, if you're training your dog to go into a downstay, you want them to stay for a little bit. You want to get them something like a milk bone that's a little bit harder. That's going to take them time to chew because it gives them more time to stand that down. So when you talk about training, and the texture of the treat. Think about the skill you're trying to train. But either way, you cannot go wrong with small, soft, and chewy training treats for your dog. So ideally, soft and chewy. Awesome. The second treat you want to try using is any type of freeze dried or dehydrated treats or meat treats. These treats have a strong aroma that will actually motivate your dog. And picky eaters with low appetites tend to love these type of treats because it is very intriguing with the smells and stuff like that. And so usually these treats only have one single ingredient in it, which is great because I know some dogs can have allergies and such. And so you don't want to get into all these different type of ingredients in the treat. So ideally freeze dried or dehydrated treats are great. If going back to the soft and chewy treats, my favorite treats for that is Zook Mini Natural Treats. They're pretty affordable. You can get them at any pet store. Those are excellent training treats. When it comes down to the freeze dried and dehydrated treats, I absolutely love Sit for Treats, dehydrated brisket and beef liver treats. Those are ideal too because they're soft as well and they have a lot of flavor to them, and dogs seem to focus more. So those are my personal favorites. Um, Another treat that I like using as well is you can use bite-sized pieces of chicken or turkey. These treats are easily affordable because you can essentially get them from your grocery store. You may even have it in your fridge. These are a good protein source for dogs, good vitamins and such. I like using string cheese sticks for treats as dogs, especially if you're going to be on walks. I like popping them in the freezer and I'll just hold them like that and just, dip it down to the dog and treat them as so on walks, or you can cut them up as well. If you're going to use cooked chicken, you can use boiled chicken and cut those up into little strips and use that as well. But what I like doing is going to the local grocery store and buying like those Purdue chicken strips because you don't have to get into cutting them up. They're already made and things like that. I'll either cut those up or I'll pop. I'm always a fan of popping treats in the freezer to buy you some time. You don't have to, especially if your dog's a picky eater. You don't want to make it harder for them to chew through. But ideally, just some cooked chicken, turkey, or things as such will be ideal. And those type of treats get your dog to focus more as well. So I love using those for training that may be a little bit more tricky, like reactivity and of such, just to get your dog to focus more. Another one, dried fish skins. I love the minnows, the little fish minnows. Those are always good. They're very stinky and smelly, and fish skins are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are good for the dog's skin and coats, but they're also good training treats as well. If you think about it, what I always try to talk to families about is the more smellier the training treat, the better. So if you're thinking like, oh my God, this is a lot of stuff, small treats, soft treats, like what do I choose? If you're choosing a training treat and you're in the store looking, look for the most smelliest treat around, and that's going to be a good treat to train with because it has a lot of aroma and it's going to keep your dog enticed. So Um, those are essentially the treats that I love to train with. Is no different probably from the treats that you're using at home. Again, the biggest difference is the type of training you're doing with your dog. You want to choose the appropriate treat. So just to wrap this up, you want to use the small, soft, chewy, and trainy treats. You can use those in general, but those are good for dogs that are picky eaters. They're good for small dogs as well. They even have the mini soft treats. So you think training treats are small, they have the mini ones, because I know there's some dogs that are under 5 pounds that may not, you don't want to fill them up on treats. So just buying the smaller ones. Um, and also the freeze dried, like I was saying, dehydrated, also a really good choice. Those are just good for all around in general, for higher value. When I say higher value, it just means that your dog's going to be more interested in them and they may perform a little bit better. And if you're not at the store and you just want to grab something quick on the go, that's when I'll be more opt to go for the cheese sticks and hot dogs. You don't have to cook the hot dogs, you can just cut them up. And that's just something you can grab right out of your fridge. And that's why I like them as well. And there's no fried fish in this. The dried fish skins, those are ideal too. Some people don't like the smelly on their hands or whatever it may be, but also, you can use that. So when it comes to training your dog, these are the treats that I would recommend. And again, it's more about applying the type of treats to the training you're doing. But any one of these should suffice to and work well for when training your dog. I will drop my favorite treats and a link so you guys can grab them and purchase them. For the sit for treats, those are the beef brisket and liver treats. They're dehydrated. Like I say, I use them when I'm training with my dogs, with clients' dogs. They love them. They ask for them. So I definitely will drop a link to that in the comments and you guys can grab them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you're driving along, you listen to me on the podcast, Positive Dog Training Convos. A lot of great conversations happening there. So I will talk to you next week and go ahead and get those training treats rounded up and start training your dogs. And I'll be back next week with another great topic. Bye.